Well, all right. Letting everybody in right now, guys. It is 1 week till the end of 2022. Wishing you and yours a very happy holidays as we wind down this, the second to the last week of the year. So if you're on this call, everybody, yeah, I see a few people on the guys. Welcome to the diehards, right? Everybody else has got something going on today. I don't know. I got cleaning the house and getting ready for the holidays and doing those last minute trips, wrapping presents, all of that stuff, independent of whatever you celebrate. I know this is a busy time of the year. So the fact that you guys are on this call speaks volumes about your commitment to what you're working on and your commitment to this community. And I really want to acknowledge that and thank you guys for continuing to put in your time into this community. I just think about, and now is the time at the end of the year where I'm reflecting on a lot of 2022 as I prepare for 2023. And so I know Guy and I always talk about this. We call it a retrospective in technology and in development, right? You do your sprint, you program all your stuff. And at the end, you look back at that progress and you say, what did we do good? What could we have done better? How do we learn and grow and move forward in our consistency of what we're working on? And we took that process and we didn't just apply it to our sprints with development. We applied it to our year. We applied it to our quarters. We apply it to our months. We apply it to our weeks. And if you get really diligent about committing to do a retrospective, you can even apply this to each and every day, a daily retrospective, or even on a task by task basis. How was that call? Was that call good? What did I do well on that call? What could I do better? And it's a constant evolution of improvement. And that's really what this is all about. I don't know if you guys are here. You saw, got my ugly sweater on. Woo, woo, woo. And we are just celebrating the holidays. The cookies are in the oven. Again, 1 week left, guys. What are we going to do? For a lot of people, they're checked out through the new year, but that just means that everybody's home right now, right? Everybody's available right now. Everybody's sitting there pacifying their time with checking emails probably to avoid family and friends who might be in town or all the other chaos that's going on. And we talked about it last week, Finish Strong. We talked about our theme this week was seeking a solution. Again, next week, we're going to be going through our 6-month review of our wheels of life. Where are we at? Right? What are we on a scale of 1 to 10? What's a 10 out of 10 mean for us? And are we moving the benchmark if we've achieved some of our goals? And what is our solutions going to be? What types of plans are we going to implement? And what types of activities are we going to be working on? And then I mentioned it at yesterday's roundtable, Thursday's roundtable. I'm just flipping through some of my notes, but I gave this little quote and I said, discipline is the enemy of failure. And I know all too often, a lot of us have experienced failure. You know what I mean? You might look back on 2022 and say, man, another year where I didn't achieve what I was expecting to achieve. And guys, if you've experienced failure, it's not that your goals or your dreams or whatever you're working on have failed you. It's just that the system that you've put in place maybe didn't result in exactly what you thought it would. So this is also our time to think about how are we going to course correct in the new year. And then we're going to talk about sticking to our plans and all of those types of things. From a retro perspective, we kicked this off, in December, networking, guys, networking. And I know, Kathy, you and I have been talking about networking for more than just a year, more than just 2022. And I think that's going to be an invaluable asset to all of us as we move into 2023. It's going to be the year of networking. And I truly believe it's going to be the year of digital networking. Guys, I'm still blown away. I woke up, it was negative 10 degrees this morning here in Colorado. If you're experiencing the cold front, and I'm sure, and James on opposite ends of me, north and south, are experiencing some cold as well. And, wherever you're at. But that didn't stop almost 50 people getting together, in a virtual environment to come and meet each other and form new relationships. And I think that is the power of the new digital age, right? And that's only going to expand, as Guy would say, things aren't getting any less digital, right? So we need to look towards that and lean into that. And then we want to lean into our uses of the technology. Anna, I'm so ecstatic to hear that not only did your card generate sales for your book, it contributed to a good chunk of those sales. And we want to say, okay, how do we lean into that, right? Part of the retro, and how do we expand that, not just for you, but for all the other authors that you work with, right? James, for your businesses and having the right card at the right time for the right audience member. How do we support that? Jeff, for you launching the new tech, right? I mean, we've all heard about it, at least if you're in the community, Rocket Call. So, where are we going to take that in 2023? And how is Elify going to help play a role in your success? And I think these are all things that we're looking for. Danon, the cards you're sharing out, the hustle that you're after. How do we make sure that you're leaning in and achieving success in what you're working on? Again, this is part of not just your goals, but the goals of this community. And I think this is really what I wanted to focus on and talk about here in this sort of pre-holiday call Friday with the founders. So Greg, same thing. I saw a promotion you had for chocolates. Again, I hope everybody takes advantage of that. And I know we've talked about getting some customers underneath you for your agency and stuff like that. So guys, we're all working on a ton of stuff. And I think we can all take it to the next level in 2023 if we all help each other. And again, that's what networking is all about. It's finding those common bonds and learning how we can support each other and learn from each other. And then most importantly, guys, I harped on this a lot throughout 2022, only because I know how valuable it is. And it's the value of action and having the discipline to get started and to maintain activity in whatever you're working on. So as we look at the Wheel of Life next week and sort of all take an opportunity to plan and then identify what our game plans are going to be for the year ahead, we're going to eat everything one day at a time. And we're going to be focusing on finding the routine and getting committed to doing that in depth over time. So guys, with that being said, I want to open this up to anybody. This is sort of our Elify holiday party here online for this Friday. So yeah, if you've got anything to add or contribute, please feel free. James, go ahead. You're first with the hand up.
Well, I want to definitely say thank you and happy holidays, whatever you may be doing, to everybody here and those abroad. Shout out to the Elify staff and crew here, especially my twin sister, Kathy. We've been talking some stuff in the background, what we want to do, but you made some key points. Yesterday at the roundtable, we talked about the partnerships and the connections we build. Myself, Ruben, Scott, and Jeff, we've actually been trying to collab to make some cool cars that work. So we're not competing, we're complimenting each other on the ways we can do. Jeff is our content guy that definitely makes everything sound so elegant and articulate. Ruben is our artistic dude who comes with one view that we may not looked at. Scott is our motivational guy that keeps us healthy and let me make it better. And my job is actually say, you know what, I seen the one or two things and I'm the guy who presents it as far as how we're going to get it out there. So we're not the perfect team, but we are all a team and we're looking to get folks in here. And I'm bringing them, I'm going to talk about my twin sister because we done talked a while about getting our, what do we call it? How should I say it correctly? Example cards together. We had a major influencer on our call yesterday on International Wednesday, and made me start thinking, wait a minute, I know influencers.
You do.
Let's find an influencer card. See, this card here we got created for you. You can actually use this to influence people. We already have action proof that somebody else already been doing the same thing. So what we need to start doing as a team is like, you know what? Think of the people who are around you that are in certain positions. That somebody has, hey, you know what? I know Jeff is a content writer. So who else I know content writers that I can say, hey, here's an example of a content writer card that you can use on your business. If I know somebody who's into book writing, I know an author that on the first day of posting her digital card got 30% of her business just off of the time she posted it. You would like a card like this? Heck yeah, I would. If you know somebody who's actually out here that's actually involved in this service or somebody who's actually doing like DJ work, I know a great DJ card that you can show somebody that will show them how they can get influence and to get actual use of everything going on. So that being said, team, let's build those cards and let's stack let's break Vegas by stacking the deck. Back to you.
James, I love it. I love it. I love it. And I think that's so important, guys. This is a team sport. Like, think about it, right? I mentioned this in the roundtable. There's so much opportunity and so much abundance out there. We talked about business networking as an $80 billion a year market, right? Landing pages, a multi-billion-dollar market. Digital business cards, a $3 billion market. QR codes, $30 billion market. NFC, $35 billion market. Guy would sit here and say, add all those up, it's $150+ billion out there that's going to be spent. And everything, James, that you talked about just then, I don't know if you were listening to yourself, but it was all about helping others be successful. And if you help others get what they want, you're going to get exactly what you want. And that's the whole premise behind everything. And, I love that you close with sort of stacking the deck. And here's why, okay? Here's why. I'm a big fan. If anybody ever saw that movie 21, it was based off of the MIT blackjack team of the 90s and early 2000s. The initial team was founded by a guy named Simeon Dukac. There's a great book out there about this. But basically, this is what it talks about. If you play basic strategy and then you implement the layer on the ability to count cards or predictably understand what cards are still in the deck and the probabilities of you winning or losing, you can, in essence, take a game that was focused on putting the advantage in the house to just incrementally shifting that advantage over to the player. And what I'm talking about is it didn't ungodly shift the advantage, right? It wasn't now we're going to win 9 times out of 10 hands played. It went from 51% to the house advantage to about 51% to the player advantage. But what that means is you play over time and success becomes an inevitability. I love processes and systems that stack the deck in our favor. And that's really what we're talking about. When we're talking about networking, again, it's an opportunity to help everybody else, but in turn, bring people in to help the community. And then, James, to your point, I'll tell you right now, we all wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for the network, if it wasn't for the community. So James wouldn't be in touch with Ruben, who maybe wouldn't be in touch with Scott, who wouldn't be in touch with Jeff, if we all weren't part of the community. And coming together and working together puts the advantage in our hands. Guys, we're working together on that. And a lot of game theory, and again, I'm a big fan of this stuff as a nerdy person, math person myself. You can look at John Nash, okay? John Forbes Nash, he's the guy who they made a movie about with Russell Crowe called A Beautiful Mind. I'm just trying to give the movies because most of us have been exposed to these types of movies, but he came up with modern game theory, right? And it was like, I love the example they give because here is the competitive nature of most people in the world right now. Right. And the example he gives is they walk into a bar. It's like 4 guys walk into a bar. They look across the bar and there's a group of beautiful ladies sitting across the room. And all the guys are looking at the one most beautiful lady. Right. And they're like, he says to his friends, look, if we all go talk to this one girl and ask her to dance, she can't dance with all of us or go out with all of us. So some of us are going to lose. Maybe one of us will win, but some of us are going to lose. And then he says, but look, she's got all these beautiful friends. Maybe they're 9s of 10s instead of 10s of 10s. But if we all disregard her and talk to her friends, there's enough to go around and we all win. That's a change in strategy. That's all that is, right? Instead of everybody go after one and we all, or some lose and some win, we can all look at the opportunity that exists, work together in combination, and everybody wins. That's the abundance mentality. And I've been a firm believer, guys, we are all playing a game called the game of life. The first rule of any game is you have to understand you're playing a game. Most people don't even realize that everything they do can be turned into a game. And then you have to realize the rules of your game, because most games are won when you walk in that gray area of the rules. That's the competitive advantage that a lot of people see. And once you start to understand those mechanisms, independent of what you're doing and where you're working on. Again, whether it's a single landing page or sales funnel, Jeff, it's a game now. You know what? How many iterations do we have to go through? On a landing page, it's about 22. In a funnel, I've heard as high as 80 iterations. You know, what strategies do you put in place to test and pivot, test and pivot, test and pivot until you've optimized the performance of every one of those landing pages, so that when Jeff knows, hey, somebody comes into the entry point of my funnel, I know I'm going to 30% of those people, 3 out of every 10, they're signing up. You know what I mean? And 15% of those people, they upgrade. You know, now it becomes a mechanical game where you're just playing the numbers. How many people can we dump in because it's 3 out of 10? Ooh, if we adjust this lever or change this wording or shift where this is organized in the flow, it goes from 3 out of 10 to 4 out of 10, or from 3 out of 10 to 2 out of 10. That's iteration. That's optimization. That's what we want to do with our business systems that we're all working on. And I've said this before, we are all in business, whether we like it or not. You have to make the decision if you're doing somebody else's business, right? A lot of employees, that's what you're doing, or whether you're doing your own business. And you could be an independent business owner, you can be a rep for another company, you can do all of these things. But the reality is it's all about generating revenue. I mean, again, the rules of the business and the rules of the game are pretty simple. You got to have more coming in than you have going out. If we start to think about the rules of the game, we can start to think of the cause and effect, the revenue generating activities, and all those topics that we chip away at 1 week at a time when we come together to talk on a Monday or a Thursday or a Friday. But it's all based on this premise that if we all have all of the information, we take what we learn and we apply it, we're going to start to gain a competitive advantage. And it's that sharing that you just mouthed, Anna, that collaboration, right? I heard James say it, like a collaboration, right? How many influencers want to collaborate? That's part of the language that's used, right? Again, when we focus on that stuff, how can I help you? You know, Kathy, I love it so much that you are the connector. Why? Because you put yourself second to everybody else that you help, but what you give out, I truly believe, comes back in multiples, right? And so now everybody comes to Kathy and they say, Kathy, who do you know? Do you know anybody who does this? And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you know who you have to talk to? It's Kathy. All of a sudden, Kathy's not out there being as active meeting people because people are being introduced to her. And then again, that wealth is building in the network. And at the end of the day, we say it, you just got to work the network. And then it's like mining. It's like mining, guys. Imagine that. Like, we have to use the mining analogy that every single name in your entire network is like a different mine that has been tapped, and it's filled with gold and jewels and diamond and silver, everything. And if you just go through each of your mines, knowing that everybody knows on average 600 other people, you have to think about that, right? Like, step away and think about that. That's so much abundance that if you were just diligent on working on it and chipping away at it, you could write your own ticket. You just have to understand that and then just commit to that process and that system. And I think that that's the win for everybody as we flow into 2023. I'm going to get off my soapbox here, Jeff. I know you've been super patient and stuff like that, but I just think this is so powerful. You know, this is one of the reasons why we created the affiliate program. We talk about ambassadorship. Is like, we want to make it available for everybody to tap into. Guy and I have no desire to just do this by ourselves, right? We have a desire to create an entire group of individuals who see a common vision, who want to come alongside us, and everybody has the potential to be as successful as they want to be. But it's not going to do it for you. You know, we mentioned the last thing in closing before I pass this off to Jeff. We were talking with Scott yesterday, right? And anybody who doesn't know Scott, if you have an injury, a sports injury, rehabilitation, you got to get back in action, right? And there's a whole industry of health and wellness providers out there that help people get back to where they once were, or recover from some type of injury. But you can take two schools of thought if you're participating in some type of rehabilitation. You can go to the rehab session and say, I'm relying on this 1 time a week, 1 day a week, or 1 time a day activity to solve my problems. Or you can say, I'm going to go here and I'm going to learn as much as I can from this person who's instructing me on what I need to be doing. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability in session. And then I'm going to walk away from that, and I'm going to continue to apply what I've learned, right? Whether it's the exercise, Jeff, the walking, right? All those things, I'm going to learn from what they're prescribing me. And if I follow along with that, I'm going to recover faster. I'm going to get back to 100% faster. I'm going to heal. And guys, I see it all the time. There are plenty of people who just show up to an event or call and expect that to be the solution. You know, I mean, there's a reason why school gives you homework. There's a reason why when I left grad school, it wasn't like I was earning just off the degree. You have to take all of that knowledge and apply it. So anyways, guys, Jeff, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing now. When you get going, you motivate my brain cells.
Good. That's the goal here, guys. This is my role, is to try and get us to sit back and think.
So and then James, teamwork. Obviously, I've been a coach my whole life. And my brother, who, I lost my pastor brother 6 years ago. You guys know that about a year. And he used to tell me when we'd be out golfing, here I am, a tennis pro, and I'm giving him golf tips, and he chunked, and but they were good tips because I got them from somebody else, right? And finally he just said, okay, little brother, stop coaching. Like freaking just let me play. Let's save that for the bridge. So I jumped onto you. Okay, now let me jump. So the teamwork thing, my best team at Drake, that was just phenomenal. I mean, we just crushed everybody. We beat Iowa State. I mean, we were just dominant. The worst year of my life as a coach, because I had a girl from Russia who was 17 fleeing the streets. I had a very pampered girl from Mexico City who sat around with her sisters, and she was fantastic. And then I had all my other girls. I mean, it was the worst unity. So as a recruiter, and James, it isn't, and I saw this last night. I watched the football game. You guys, because it was freezing. I ended up not going to a Christmas party. Jacksonville. I really love what Peterson's doing in Jacksonville, because they're not just going after good players, they're recruiting quality people. And I learned that when I would bring a recruit on campus, and so I'm getting into James' world, I would 48 hours, I'd have my time, we'd practice, and I'd do my spiel, send them around and meet everybody at the campus. I turned them loose with the girls for the rest of the weekend. Monday morning, I got them back off. I sat around and I looked at every girl in the eye. I said, what do you think of Susie? Mm-hmm. And they either said, we love her, Jeff, you better do your job and get her. Or they would sit there quietly, like they're so sweet. And they would be like, nobody wanted to talk. I knew right away. Okay, come on. What don't you like? Jeff, she will fit. She's not a bad girl. She just, so that James, when you got me, man, I could talk teamwork and coaching, unity all day long. And then I worked at a Christian school for 7 years. You don't tell me it doesn't matter what organization you're in. Unity, if you don't have unity, oh my gosh. I won't get on that high horse. Then I hacked Scott's card. He's got a pretty good card. And I know he's asked me a little bit about copy here and there. And then I clicked and I followed the whole path. I researched. I know everything about everything. I know everything about the product. I know everything about the business model. It took me 5 minutes to go in from, these networking events. I go in, I hack the cards. I look at the quality of the cards. I look at the quality of the person. I connect with them. I communicate. I make the decision. And I think that's what you do in your network, right? I mean, you're not trying to connect to everybody at a 30-person event. Right. You are going to maybe collect 30 cards, but at the end, if you walk out with one person who you truly can help, and then, maybe it's a collaboration. And I think that's, the key word, Kathy, I like that you put collaboration. And I'm really thrilled that you're here today, because even though you didn't wear your red sweater, that's okay. Because I learned so much. I've really been making an effort to get on the Tech Tuesday, because I learn like 3 steps forward of just little, because my brain works. You guys can just hear me. I'm a visionary. I can do the big stuff. It comes to tagging someone. What the hell? How do you tag on Facebook? Right? I didn't know how to do that. But here I am studying how to run Facebook ads and all this. So the shovel team, okay, team serve. Okay, the serving thing, it's Christmas time. Now here's the results. You guys like experiments? I blew up. I'm kicked off of Messenger, by the way. So the first thing I did, I started because I wanted my Christmas card, and I just did the untrackable link. I did, I made a campaign.
Okay.
If you don't know anything, so I made a campaign link and called it my Facebook post. So there's the Facebook post, and then Messenger is a whole different deal. If I message James directly with my card, and then I usually then put a little, hey, whatever. I don't just want to have just the link. Sometimes I do, but so yesterday I took your advice, ER. I made sure I wrote what I thought was a pretty clever post because it's freezing. I'm not taking my bag of cards that I wrote for all of you. I said, so I got to go virtual. It's down below there. Check it out. I have gotten so much love back from that post. Everybody's posting those little funny cartoon icons of like Santa Claus and goofy things that I don't know how to do. Again, I don't know how to do a lot of this funky stuff. So if you go to my Facebook profile, and if you're not a friend, check out how that post is going. I got a ton of comments, and I felt kind of bad because there were some people on there I wanted to send directly, because you know what I'm saying? You got your post that you want to access the people out there in your campaign world, and then you have the direct people, right? Your family. So I started going down. Okay, I said to my wife, I don't even have some people in my phone thing in her family. So I went and made sure I had all the phone numbers, and I'm texting because I got kicked out of Messenger. I'm copy paste. Did you guys know that they all of a sudden they shut you off? And
I believe if their engine sees that you're just copying, pasting the same thing, like link, then they want to start to mitigate that. And they probably have these gates. You know what I mean? I'm sure that they're going to hours for you, but you know what I mean? You can say it's a Christmas card, guys. It's the holiday season.
Exactly. And so, so I'm sending out, my little.
I love the preview and everything. I mean, again.
So I got stalled up on some people that I really, I don't have their text, right? I don't have their phone number. So I have to start to be more selective, but here's the results of my experiment. If you go through my phone and go through my text messages, right? It just goes on and on and on. And I'm getting love back from family members, that my wife and I don't sit at the kitchen table and crank out the Christmas cards. And if we did, she's got I got my tennis world. I've lived in so many different worlds, you guys. And all of a sudden I'm sending Christmas cards to people that I don't even really like very well, but another coach. And all of a sudden we're having this great thing. He's asking me about my hip. This is incredible. That Elify card that I raced to get done to just show to the group. And I also wanted to let you guys use it for marketing, because that slide, that number, Kathy, you got me into using that. What is it, 18? And I did the one before. And once you get those things all perfectly sized the same, and you can click the URLs, I'm like, oh my God, if I'm not in an MLM right now, I buy a lot of crap, trust me. But if I was in an MLM, I would have the card with the products going to, because now MLM companies are getting smarter. They're putting special pages for the individual products. They don't run you to the, hey, here's the sweepstakes homepage, cruises, gold watches, and all that shit. Sorry, I mean, if you're into that, I'm not into gold watches and cruises, but I am into people being able to get what they want, like Donald Miller. I'm so into Donald Miller. So I actually borrowed some of his copy and tweaked it into my homepage. And what I'm going to do, so here's my long story short, I'm building up to, I'm going to do a Christmas present. And Kathy, I think you said templates. I came into this call hoping that I had time to whip together headline templates, a couple of my favorites, bullet templates, because I don't think most people understand the key to a good bullet. It isn't just the feature. Sometimes it's just the feature, but usually you want the feature, the result of the feature, and then what it means for you. So the handy dandy blue thing will help your voice sound better, which means you'll get more respect because you're using, whatever, your audio is better. And so understanding a good headline, couple bullets, a call to action. And guys, there's been so many. I look at some of the cards that are either there's no call to action, or it's just like this convoluted thing. It's just like, submit here, click now, grab this offer. So I'm kind of motivated, Kathy, to put together some simple Elify cards that are just templates. Like, here's an example, 3 ways to blankety blank so that you can, you guys, it's so simple, but you know what? Most people, I look at these cards, nobody is using a lot of the copy formula that I provided to this
Well,
community
Jeff,
a long time ago.
I mean, what you're talking about should be a mere reflection. I wish you to come back and listen to this, because what you've outlined is a service opportunity that you can create that can be invaluable to other people. At Wednesday's networking event, I met a gal whose name is Kim, 17 years in network marketing and direct sales, dozen plus years in the 6-figure plus range, very, very skilled. And her pivot and goal now is to support other people within that space who have never been successful, who want to be successful, because there are a lot of attributes, in my opinion, hidden secrets, those types of things that a lot of people in the industry who come into the industry green or new or straight from employment don't know, or have missed expectations, those types of things. And I think there's the ability for Shuffle to come alongside that, and cards and templates to come alongside that, just like what Anna's talking about for authors. Hey guys, here it is. It worked for me. You can clone this template for your book and do the exact same flow that I'm talking about, and potentially see a similar result. And I think, to your point, Jeff, as a copywriter, as a funnel specialist, I know a lot of individuals out there who have marked themselves as gurus, and you know them too. And here's the other thing I'll tell you, but those gurus are building the templates and selling the templates. Hey guys, you need a funnel that looks like this. Just swap out for your industry, your product, your brand, your identity, your service. And they're providing that value. And some of them are charging $100 a month. Some of them are charging big bucks every month to people to build them themselves. All of that, that's just capitalizing on the opportunity. If you go in there and you build a series of template examples that you truly feel will have impact within certain verticals, I truly believe you could go to individuals within that industry and say, here's a template you can use. Let me help you set it up. You know what I mean? And there's a whole other stream of income right there. So I don't want us to lose sight of the feedback loops that we create, turning around and saying, hey, everybody. It's like saying, hey, everybody, I discovered gold. You know what I mean? If you want to mine for gold too, I'll show you where to dig. I'll show you what picks and shovels to use. I'll show you all of that type of stuff. Just, buy your wares from me type of thing. I think that's just super powerful, and a potential opportunity that I want to call out there, because I agree. I think the idea is great, right? But as we all know, ideas that aren't implemented are a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? But the ideas that do get implemented, I mean, they can be billion-dollar ideas.
Yeah. And you mentioned the network marketing industry, and one of the things they don't understand in online marketing 101, got to have a lead magnet, got to have something free, right?
I mean, you can do classes just to that industry. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Free something, right?
There are 100 million. Think about this, 100 million. If you wanted to classify it just visually, that's 1/3 of the total US population. 100 million people worldwide are actively involved in direct sales. And that's according to the WSDSA, the World Federation of Direct Selling Associations. And that's the statistic from probably 5 years ago. So I don't know what it is right about now, but probably. I think at last check, it was growing at 4 to 5% per year. When I was last monitoring some of those statistics, that's a total addressable market in business. That's what we talk about, right? You want to go to where there are customers, and you want to offer the customers something of value. And we have to understand, everybody who's buying things out there, they're not looking for problems. They're looking for solutions. Oh, if you can help me be more successful in this venture that I chose to go down, don't be the distraction to them, because that's what a lot of them are afraid of, right? You're going to distract me from what I'm trying to work on. No, I'm going to come alongside you and try and help you to do the best you can at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny you said that. That's one of the key lines in my copy is blankety blank blank without, right? People want the thing they want without, and you guys can take that however you want. Get the desire without this, right? Get the bugs out of your house without spraying poison all over, right? Well, what I did was I realized I want to work with people who both want to grow their first ever online business, but I also want people who have a business that want to add an extra stream of income. And so I wrote blankety blank blank without distracting you or interfering from whatever you're currently doing. And I think that line, you guys don't steal that one. That one's mine. But I love that line, and I'm going to use it in a lot of my copy, because that's what you do when you're a shovel, like ER, your stuff, my stuff. There's nobody in here that sells what I sell. So I got no competition. I got no, it's not like I'm in here and I'm with everybody else as a network marketer. So I can speak very openly and clearly because no one else offers, just like you guys. We've got shovels. Your shovel is slightly different, well, quite a bit different than my shovel, but they work like this. You need this shovel to get to this point to then get to the sale. And so you talked about scale. You didn't really say scale, but that's what you're talking about. How do we get our process? And then again, that's what I'm working at in the infancy of this pre-launch of what we're doing. We're tweaking, we're beta testing. As soon as I feel that's going, I have a guy waiting in the wings that met with me through a network that loves our offer and says, Jeff, I run YouTube ads to affiliates, and then they join me, and then I split, and we went through this whole thing for an hour. And it was, again, an example of what this community does is you find that right person that this person brought to me. We finally got on a rocket call. We had 2 conversations, and now it's like, I said, I'm not ready to scale. I said, we need to get that, just like you were talking about here, you got to get that sort of the baby steps of, you know what, when I share this Elify card with my product customers, and then I have a second product card with my entrepreneurial minded customers, again, that's right from Brunson's network marketing book. And he says, you really have to make sure that you're, health, like I went through Scott's card. That hit me. I have a master's in exercise science. I mean, I'm going to do the pumps and the things. I'm getting those things. And so I was just perfect. But do I want to be in the business of marketing that? Probably not. But I'm a hell of a customer. I just spent $500 on a network marketing order for a product company that I love the products. My wife just put a $500 order in. I'm a great customer. I'm a great supporter. I don't want to do everybody's business, but people now come to me. It's like, no. I'm the shovel maker. ER's the shovel maker. We teach people how to either network, connect, communicate, share. And so I love being on that side of the fence. Yeah. Because I was hopping when I was going through some grief and stuff. I was hopping with a great partner who's a lot like Kathy. I was hopping and hopping and hopping. And I was like, geez, I want to do what I want to do. And so I'm kind of just like flushing here a little bit, guys, because you're a good group and I appreciate it. But I was making a lot of stupid mistakes, just following a good person, but not really my desire. Yep. My desire is probably a lot more like yours, ER. We want to help 1,000, 10,000, 1 million people figure out a better, simpler way to earn money for them and their families, period.
Yep. Well, I think Guy hit the nail on the head on Wednesday when he had people raise their hand. Who's interested in building their business or building their brand or building, stuff in 2023. And obviously everybody raised their hand. We're all interested in that. But the reality is who's obsessed? Who's obsessed with that? And I think it takes a passion to create an obsession, right? Where you become so passionate about whatever you're working on, you become almost obsessed in a way in that. And I've seen a lot of successful people, we could look at anybody who's super successful, and there's almost an obsession with what they're working on, that they're so passionate about it. Take your top sports figure or take your top business persona. They're obsessed, right? They're obsessed with whatever they're working on. And it's not the money they're obsessed with, guys, right? Like in true obsession and passion, money is a result of it. You don't hear, this is what I hate. And Guy and I talked about being real in 2023. I hate that gurus focus only on money. Why? Because they sell the dream and not the journey. Like Guy and I are all about selling the journey, because the dream for me, guys, you're never going to see me like, hey, look at all my nice cars in the background here. Or, oh, look, I live in my dream house. How many times have I shared my life with you guys? I'm not trying to sell you my dream or my life. I want you to find what yours is. And I want you to understand that it takes a journey to get there. And as long as you're willing to commit to the journey and love the journey and enjoy the journey, guys, like I can tell you want to get healthy, drink kale smoothies. I drink a lot of them, but I love them. You know what I mean? I've been a vegetarian for like a dozen years. If you try to take that on, I see Kathy's face. Trust me, you're not going to be in love with the journey independent of what the result will be. And therefore, you're not going to stick with it. But Kathy might say, no, but you know what I do love? I love this, and it is healthy too. And I'm going to swap that for this. And now I love the journey, and we can both get to the final destination, right? So I hate those people like, what is it exactly that you do? Look, I can tell you what I do, but you got to find out what you should be doing and what you can stick with so that you're going to get the end result. And that's really what it breaks down to, right? Getting started and being relentlessly consistent and making sure you're open to course correcting along the way. Now, Anna, you've been so patient. Go ahead. Thank you for listening to me blabber.
Well, first of all, I love listening to you blather because there's so much good blather coming out.
Appreciate that.
And this has been a great call. I want to go back to network marketing.
Yeah.
I've been blessed, and James knows this. He's experienced the same thing, to be with a company for, I mean, in my case, almost 17 years with one company. But I constantly hear questions, the same questions over and over from members and from associates. And so I'm actually creating a card that answers most of those questions with videos. And those videos will also be on my Facebook page, on my LinkedIn page, accessible to everybody, YouTube, whatever it takes, but answer some of those questions, because the one failure of an associate in any distribution market, any network marketing company, is you have to train people. You can't just bring them on board and throw them off to the wolves. And most of them aren't going to make your weekly meetings and that kind of thing. But there are certain basics that need to be repeated over and over and over, year after year, because you always have new people coming on board, and they need to be able to share that too. So I'm creating a digital business card that will actually support that.
Love it.
And anytime you see a video of mine on one of the sites, you'll have a link to that card so you can get the rest of them.
I think that's so powerful, Anna. I want to speak to a few things because I think there's a reason behind it and why I know that this will work in helping those people. First of all, like you said, most of us get the same common questions again and again and again. And if you're wasting time individually addressing them, instead of, Anna, your point, creating some evergreen material that can support them, you're being inefficient, and it's not going to only hurt them, it's going to hurt you. If everybody gets access to the same resource and it addresses those questions and helps them move forward, now you've created some replication and you've leveraged technology to support you. Here's the other thing, and I think I've only learned this after having kids and watching them learn something new. Anytime we do something for the first time, and I'd like to think about this from an entrepreneurial perspective, because I've been an entrepreneur for so long and started multiple businesses. I think about the process, Anna, like registering your business at the Secretary of State, you know what I mean? Going to the IRS and getting your EIN, opening up your bank accounts for your business, talking to your accountant or your lawyer, like some of the just things that are the common tick boxes anytime you start a business. And if you've done multiple of them, you could almost do it in sleep. You're just like, oh, that's simple. Okay, it'll take me an afternoon to set up. But if it's your first time ever doing something new, and I think about my kids riding a bike, right? I didn't just say, get on the bike, here it is, no training wheels, no nothing. It was like, no, they had a strider to learn how to balance. You know, they had a tricycle to learn how to pedal. They had training wheels to put the two together. I took them on a hill without training wheels, and I let momentum be their friend. Like there were these attributes of like crawling, walking, running. It's the same thing within any venture that we're all working on. If it's your first time doing it, you're going to be scared as heck. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I've never done this thing before. I might have just been working a 9 to 5 yesterday, and I'm going to be doing it tomorrow until this thing replaces my income. What do I do? What do I say? Where do I go? If you can hold the hands and help people overcome that initial force of friction to get into activity, it can make a monumental impact. And the ripple effect that can happen from that, Anna, is what can be so powerful, because guess what? Those people are going to have to answer the same questions that come in from and it's a lot of times it's like, I don't know the answer is what I always tell people, but I know somebody who does. Let me connect you with them. I don't know the answers to that, but you know who does? Anna, and she created this card that we're all using to solve those commonly asked questions. Let me get that for you. You know what I mean? I'm the biggest fan of leverage, guys. I think that's the secret sauce to success. And this is one of the reasons why I like direct sales, network marketing, multi-level marketing, is if you're truly going to make that your business, you understand that a lot of the success comes from leverage, and that you have to help other people be successful if you want to drive your own success. So, James, go ahead.
Every time you say something, I start thinking, I have one thing planned, you bring something else. A lot of the time, I watch Shark Tank all the time. It's a good show. I love watching. Mark Cuban says consistently, one of the best things you could do is come up with a business or a solution to a problem nobody thinks about. And I think that's Elify definitely. And one of the problems that solution we can provide people is, how do I put your business out there? You said something key, ER. When a business gets started, it's missing certain key things: registration, business account, blah, blah, blah. The one thing they're missing across the board always is advertisement, marketing. And they need it, but the cost is killing them. The average SEO company starts off at $500 a month for a basic plan. And some can go up to several $1,000s a month for that. So we can offer them, or we can show them, you know what, Brenda, you just got started, and I want to help you out. The thing is, people are asking us questions because they know, or they've been told, that we are good at our business, or we can help them, connect them. So how do we help them? I want to help you get your business up, Brenda. I'm personally going to help you out by putting you into my database. What do you mean your database? My database is actually where I keep all of my businesses, organizations, and groups I want to recommend to people. But in order to keep you in there, I'm not going to walk around with the giant clipboard of cards. And remember, we're all grown. Y'all remember, and you can use it for example. You are part of the yellow pages, and nobody carries around that giant book. So I'm going to carry you around in my database here, Brandon. The way I'm going to do that, I'm going to give you a starting block for your business. I'm going to give you a card. I'm going to give you a digital landing page. You can have several levels you can work with it, Brandon. You can get the free level, you can get our standard level, or you can get our pro level that we can actually provide everything with you, whatever you start. But we're going to start off first with this free level, so I can put you in the database. While being in my database, as I'm connecting with people and I know they say, hey, I need somebody in your field, I can send your information to them. We need to remember, I'm going to say this again, we are connectors. People walk up to you or call you because you've all heard this, hey, Dana, such, let me give you a call. They already want to connect with you. They're already trusting your judgment, your word. So you got to give them trust back, give them something worth their time. Giving them the landing page or giving them and put them in the database will assist them. Actually grabbing your phone and actually showing them your database that you have already established will actually verify and complement the fact that, wow, you do have database. So I need to get you in here.
Their guard. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I mean, James, you're so spot on. There's all these components that can help tip things in your favor. I know, Jeff, in online marketing, there's a tool called the Tripwire. Some of us might not be using it. Others might be using it. They call it the Tripwire. It's some type of incentive that's going to get somebody to start down the path of your offer. A lot of the times it's free. Hey, learn the 7 tips to avoid XYZ, fill this out. That's the Tripwire, right? Guys, we have this awesome Tripwire. Now we have 2 of them. One is your free digital business card that you can give to anybody. And James, to your point, I love the stat that 40% of small businesses lack an online presence. Think about that. How much commerce is happening online? Trillions of dollars. 40% of small businesses can't even tap into that. I'm going to help you tap into that. And it all starts by going digital, having some digital component, whether that's a free business card or whatnot. I think the other thing is leaning into the power of the network. We've been talking about that throughout today's call. Guys, how many free networking events versus paid networking events are happening right now? And how can we make a networking event accessible to everybody? Did you know we had people from the UK, from the Caribbean, Latin America, from Canada. I talked to somebody who was closer to Alaska than they were to the rest of the United States out of Canada on one of our networking events. You know, or Anna, you always say, like, you're in a small town, right? I mean, we're not talking a 10,000 person town either, guys. Like, we're talking 10% of that, 20% of that. And yet you can now operate in a global environment because as long as you have an internet connection, guys, we're all in the same room, but we're all in our own rooms. Like, that's the power of it. So when we start capitalizing on that, that's the other thing. I want to give you a free card. I want to invite you to a free event. If that's your onboarding process, I mean, there are people who say no to free. You know what I mean? There are people who say no to free. That's fine. Some can, some will, some won't. So what? So what, right? Like, again, I come back. This is a numbers game. I'm going to give you guys a quick little story, and then anybody else wants to add. Okay. The first venture I was in, I had just had a sports injury where a guy and I both played football at Division I. And I saw that I'm not going to play football anymore. So I went and left that university and I transferred to the University of Colorado in Boulder. And Guy always says idle hands. You know what I mean? I was used to getting up at 5 a.m. to go to training and watching film and doing practice and all that other stuff and getting to bed around 10 p.m. And in between all of that were classes and everything like that. And when I got transferred schools, I had so much free time on my hands. I couldn't believe it. But I wasn't just going to be idle. I plugged in with some friends from high school into an internet.com business. And this is right around early 2000s. So .com bubble and all of that. And this is where I first got into affiliate marketing. I can't believe that was over 20 plus years ago at this point. And I remember we were not necessarily in dorm room, but we were living on a golf course just outside of Boulder, Colorado. And we were playing on our computers, making mailbox money. And the biggest thing for me is I took the total amount of revenue we created through all of our affiliate commissions, and I distributed it across all of the traffic that came into our websites. All of the eyeballs, the way you want to think about it is all the eyeballs that might be looking at your shuffle cards. And when I did that, I realized that those eyeballs, when it came down to it, were worth a penny, a nickel, a dime, at most a quarter, depending on the offers that we were putting in front of those individuals. It's a numbers game, guys. It's a numbers game, right? I'm not too worried if I miss out on a penny here or a penny there or a quarter there. But what I love knowing is that if we have 1 million eyeballs come in and they're all worth a nickel, you know what I mean? That those pennies add up. Those pennies add up, and we diversify our risk over a large audience of people. Guys, there's going to come a time, I kid you not, right? You may not see it. I see it. Guy sees it. Some other people within the Elify community see this, where there's a network of millions of individuals on this platform networking together or available to network together or share cards. Guys, that's an abundance. And they're going to be paying a subscription or some type of subscription fee for some of the tools that they're using. And that's all going to add up. And the number one goal that we have here isn't for it to add up for Guy or I. It's to add up for the collective and then just be distributed based on the impact that each of us has made in that process. I don't know how to make it any more simple than that. So that's why that's what we've been doing. But I do know that it's been working out. Right? We've got, I don't track the numbers. Okay, guys, I don't spend a lot of time digging in on it, but there have to have been hundreds of thousands, if not millions of cards created on the platform. There have been millions of eyeballs driven to people's cards on the platform. I don't talk about our revenue internally, but there have been tens of millions of dollars externally created in revenue for people who are using Elify solutions in their business. None of that would exist if Elify didn't exist. None of that would exist if there wasn't a community of people who have shared Elify with somebody else. And the reality is those people who have done that, they're getting a slice of all of the revenue that comes in on the subscriptions. And all we have to do, that model's already been proven out. All we have to do is scale that. is scale that. So my hope and goal for everybody here as we wind this down, James, you're going to get the last question or comment here. My goal for everybody is independent of whatever your, let's say, monthly expense is. Okay, I want us to think about what we spend every month, and all of us have a number. Maybe your number's $2,500 a month. I don't know who can live on $2,500 a month, but maybe that's it. You know what I mean? Maybe it's 5,000, maybe it's 10,000, whatever that is. My goal for you is that Elify can become a conduit for you to replace having to exchange dollars for hours and have that amount come in passively and residually on a monthly basis. Now, the amount of time it's going to take you to get there is going to be 100% up to you, but the path has been laid out for you. And I know that if we all work together as a team to support each other, we can help each other all accomplish that goal. What I want to say in closing before I pass this off to James, if your number is a big number, okay, if your number is 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, I don't care what the number is. Realize that if you're not at 500 or 100 or 50 bucks, you got to pass those milestones first. But once you do, it's a rinse and repeat process. As I tell everybody, I was on a call the other day. I said, hey, you've earned $20,000. It's weird telling somebody you've earned $20,000 and then looking at it, and I said, you haven't referred somebody in a year. Think about that. And then saying, look, if you actually continued to be active and refer, and we're going to put some mechanisms in place in the new year that are going to support that, your 20,000 should be 200,000. Because all it is a matter of scale and doing the same thing over and over again. Guys, we're trying to keep this so simple that you do not need, this is a skill that anybody can acquire, right? We hear about high value skills all the time. Jeff, I hear about it on the net all the time. Like, come learn a high value skill. You write your own ticket. Guys, this is a high value skill. You want to learn how to create a digital presence for somebody, help them create a business card, set them up for their success, build a card for them, manage their cards for them. Like, there's so many different skills that you could offer in this, let alone just finding customers or affiliates. That could be one skill alone that you can build an entire base on. So we will do our part to continue to build on the platform that supports the community, and we're relying on the community to drive the growth of the community itself. And that all comes from your own experiences and testimonials. We're all here for a reason. A lot of us have been on these calls every week for the last year. It's time to turn around and start telling people why. You know, why do you come here? Maybe it's because you just want to be a member of an amazing community and listen to me blabber. I'm fine if that's your why. Tell somebody else because they might like that too. Maybe it's helped your business, all of that type of stuff. Like, we got to turn around and start projecting that back out so that we can continue to scale everything. Okay, James.
All right, I'm going to start and end by saying this. Let's all start to stack the deck.
Yes. Okay.
I put a post in Elify Insiders this morning about a meeting I had with a client yesterday, and I'm going to tell you, it's all in the wording. We all have been to multiple companies, and we know we've all been talked about our 30-second elevator pitch, whatever you want to call it. Yep. You practice that and you say the same thing across the board. What happens if you actually take that saying and reword it to match that person or that actual event? Because I hear something totally different. Yep. Now, when I start talking to y'all, I'm about to let my accent come out, because I'm from South Carolina and I got a Geechee accent, and sometimes it picks up and it gets a little fast. You can't understand what I'm saying. So when I'm back home, my family, friends, I start picking my accent up and I understand exactly what I'm saying. But when I start talking to you, I have to slow it back down and bring it to the level, not a level, but to a style that you're used to hearing of me coming across. So in wording, when I talk to a young lady about my business, about DJing, I say, hey, you know what, Kathy? I know you're looking for somebody to do an event for you, but the great thing is the fact that I'm going to play music you want to hear that's all clean. She hears that. When I'm talking to a guy like Jeff, I say, Jeff, you know what? When I'm going to actually do for your DJ, you want everybody to know about the sponsors. So we will make sponsor announcements every top of the hour of the event. When I'm talking to ER wants to be high energy. So, sir, we're going to play the music, make everybody jump up and hit their feet and want to groove to the beat. I'm saying the exact same business, but I'm saying different wording to everybody. Yeah. So when you're talking about your business to someone, make sure the words you say are something that compels to them. So when I actually talked about doing my business, I tell everybody, I want to add your business and you to my database. This will make it easier for me to promote your business, your organization, or you to others inside and outside my database. That's why you need to have one of my digital cards. Because when we tell them the reason why we're doing something, people are more open to want to do it versus get a digital card. Okay, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. I'm a grown person. So in closing, when you're rewording your statement, when you're explaining why you're doing, you're actually stacking the deck so you can actually win at this game called life.
I love it. I love it, James. I love it. And these little subtle nuances, again, this comes from practice and from looking back at the data. I mean, we say it a lot, right? The right information to the right person at the right time. That doesn't just have to be about your cards, guys. It's listening to somebody, asking some questions, and gearing it specifically to them. James is going to have a conversation with Kathy, and Kathy's going to identify that making sure it's family friendly and clean is a topic that's important to her when it comes to the music that she's playing at an event. Jeff says, man, this is a business event. We have the sponsors who are footing the bill for this. They need to get leads. This has all got to work out. And James is listening and he's saying, great, you know what? That's why we focus on announcing the sponsors at the top of the hour before every song so that we can help accomplish that goal and drive visitors to the booths. ER, man, you are the life of the party, and we need this party to go off and everybody to be bouncing and feel the vibration in the room. We're going to make sure we're not playing slow songs at all. This is all high energy, upbeat music. To James's point, it's the same business, right? He's just gearing the solution to each customer. What ends up happening when we personalize things, and this is why, again, more than 10 cards in your deck, right? Stacking the deck in your favor, you're going to increase the overall level of conversion. What's the alternative? I always like to look at that. The alternative is dumping everybody into a catch-all or an automation and expecting that to convert everybody. And what I realized, that's how we started in affiliate marketing, is we had like 2%, 3%, 5% conversion, which was great if you're driving 1 million eyeballs a month to your landing pages or to your funnels. But if you're a person who runs a brick and mortar business, Sally's Bakery or whatnot, everybody you talk to, you want to maximize your conversion rate. And if you bring in the high tech and the high touch, like we always talk about, right? I'm going to send some information to you to look at that's more personalized to what you're looking for. I'm going to have some conversations that's geared on identifying your problem, solving your solution, building that bridge, doing the know, like, and trust. Guys, there are people out there, I don't want to raise my own hand, but I know if I sat down and talked to anybody, I could damn well get 100% conversion rate because there's a process that you can take them through. And I think all of us can acquire those skills and implement those skills in our own lives and whatever we're doing. And then that gives us all the opportunity to write our own ticket because these are high value skills. And there's a difference between a high value skill and a complex skill. I want to really drive that home because I think a lot of people think like high value skills like brain surgery. Yeah, brain surgeon makes a lot of money. It's a high value skill. But there are other skills out there, right? Fishing. I think fishing is a high value skill. Once you learn to fish, you can feed yourself. You know what I mean? But it's not a complex skill. So that's the way we need to start learning things, right? Like planting a plant is not a complex skill. You poke your finger in, you put the plant in, you got to water it. I mean, it's not rocket science, but you can grow food. Like these are the types of things that I think people need to understand because when they do and they lean into that and then they leverage it over a period of time, it can lead to massive success. Okay, guys, I don't have much else to say. I know we've gone past our time allotment. Anybody else? Last closing things before the holidays? Jeff, I saw the hand go.
Just a quick question. I've discovered one of my big challenges is using YouTube or whatever on sites or funnels or whatever, or even on that where the people get watching it. And at the end, it has all the things. You guys get frustrated by that. And it's like, you want to keep them on your site. Well, then you go to the site, say, how do I keep my Vimeo or my YouTube video to keep people on the thing and make it private, but accessible? And I found a software that actually does that. It's a self-hosting, but it's not as expensive as Wistia. That's $100 a month. And it allows you to start the video give them just enough, right? So you don't have to even have that click to the landing page or the opt-in page to the video. The video is, and it's a one-step process. And it popped up and it says, if you want to hear the rest of the juicy, like they got you drooling, like the first 5 minutes of a great movie. And it says, oh, if you want to watch the rest of the movie, just put your name and email here. Bang. And then I watched the rest of the video. They got and all of a sudden now I'm on their email stream. So I've got that video. And so that's why I'm asking you, ER. And Kathy, you guys are the tech people.
Send me over the embed code and I'll ask the team about it and stuff like that, see where it might fit in.
Because YouTube and Vimeo both give you the option of the link or the embed code. Yep. And then there's so many hoops to jump through. I even struggle getting it privatized onto my Elify card or my site or funnel or whatever.
I can help you with that, Jeff. There's actually an app that I use. So for example, the Elify video of ER talking, if you actually load that into your system and people watch the video, it takes them to Elify's YouTube channel and they get put into the funnel of everybody looking at. You actually can take ER's video and actually make it and go directly to your YouTube page. So if they click the video, it comes up to you where they can actually follow through. So get with me one-on-one.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't want that to happen
at all. Yeah,
I want them to stay on my funnel.
Send me over the embed link for the video.
But I do understand. Thanks, James. But anyway, it's a anyway, I just think that would be something if we can master that. It's just one more simple step to keep people looking at what we want them to watch instead of, jumping to these other huge big tech platforms like YouTube, like Google and Facebook that want to steal away our little business, message and bring people over to their world.
Yep. Yeah, please reach out, send me the link and I'll take a look at it and discuss it with the team. Obviously, we have two primary goals when it comes to creating content online on our platform. First and foremost, okay, guys, and this is, I think, it's the biggest goal and it's the hardest goal because it's keeping everything simple, right? If we talk about a total addressable market of 30 million businesses in the United States that 40% don't have an online presence, if it becomes so complex that they can't create an online presence, they never will. But if it's simple to create an online presence, they will, and we solve for that problem. So the number one goal for us here is simple, 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 simple. What does that mean? Sometimes you have to limit functionality or even limit complexity to keep it in the vein of simplicity. That's the first thing. The second thing is we want it to be robust. Those two are at odds with each other all the time. Simple yet robust. And what I mean by robust, it's like you and I have talked before. We're moving in V3 to a widget-based model to where it's like you can start out with a blank page or you can start out with a template, but all it is a series of stacked widgets. You start out with blank, you add your widgets in, you organize the order that they're in, and then you adjust whatever each widget is. As simple as we can make it for the average everyday person. What I could see the robustness coming into play is specific widgets that, again, have to be easy to use, but offer more robust functionality. So you talked about a widget a while back that might be like a widget that's a countdown timer. You know what I mean? Like, hey, take action right now in the next 5 minutes and you'll get this great deal. Otherwise, something happens. And then the timer's sitting there and it's like the moment they landed on the page, it's 5, 4, 58, 57, counting down. Same thing. There might be an embed widget, you know what I mean? Where it's like you put the widget in and then whatever embed text you want to embed within that section, it allows you to embed. But it needs to be a way where the robust feature is still simple and easy to use. So as we're going through releasing our alpha and our beta of the new V3, we're going to be making a call to action for anybody who wants to alpha test that stuff to start to go down that path. It's not a complete, fully, market ready, past beta solution, but it will be that. And you can have your hand in sort of helping provide feedback in that. So we'll make some announcements as we go in to cover some of those things. So keep an eye out on that, but know that that's the major goal. And the reality is the first solution we ever launched was a solution called Edge. Most of you were never on Edge. It was a rollout of an enterprise solution that we were licensing to larger corporations. And we're like, man, this tool is so powerful. Anybody could use it and they could gain a competitive advantage. It was like a virtual back office for your business. But then what we learned is it was so complex and so robust, right? We used to refer to it like we refer to Shuffle, the Swiss Army knife of business and tech solutions. And the biggest feedback we got was it was just too complex. And so people didn't use it. If people don't use our solution, I don't care if they're paying for it. It's not what we're looking for. So anyways, that's the major goal. As long as we can stick within that vein of the goal, Jeff, I'm happy to try and add and make it as robust as we can. So please send that stuff over my way, but also understand we're going to hit limits above and beyond what the average person can do. And maybe that opens up a new feature for more advanced users and things like that as well.
Yeah, but even on YouTube and Vimeo, they give you the option to grab the link or
the embed
code.
Sure.
And so that's why I thought maybe
there might be, to be honest, guys, there might be a hack.